Hello everyone, it is MisterStubstep, and today we are doing the Sun and Moon series set, Detective Pikachu. So I know a lot of people, when they saw this in stores or whatever, they would think it was a joke. But I was pleasantly surprised when I started going down the list for each of these cards. So, like always, down below I'll have timestamps. This video shouldn't be too long because there's only 18 cards in this set, but I will have timestamps down below. I'll also have a link to all my other videos that do little value discussions on all the other sets that I've done thus far. And then also have a link to this spreadsheet below as well, so you can go and view it, copy and paste, and update as you see fit. Obviously, after today, or after this video gets posted, a lot of these numbers will be invalid or will be out of date, but I still think it's useful to get a little snapshot. And I mainly do these videos to save you guys, some time and research, give you guys a good broad stroke, and then if you want to do any further research on cards, from like if you see anything interesting here, then you can do that on your own versus having to go through the whole set. So just a quick orientation through this spreadsheet. It's pretty self-explanatory. The card is, which card it is. Rarity is the rarity of the card. The raw and TCG player, that's just the market price off of TCG player, and that's based off of, recent sales. So it generally averages about, a lightly played to near mint condition, but it can vary depending if, not too many cards of that condition have been sold, or maybe some graded cards have been sold or whatever. And then grade, I try to go for PSA 10 because whether you like it or not, PSA 10 or PSA is still the most commonly used grading service for Pokemon cards, at least. Other services are growing, but as of right now, it's still PSA. Sold price is literally what it sold for most recently, and it does not include shipping. It's rounded up to the nearest dollar. For the raw price, I round down to the nearest dollar. Date of sale is basically when it was sold. This is kind of important because if it's been sold recently, then if the price is more applicable. If it hasn't been sold for a while, then either it's a rarer card or people just aren't buying and selling it as frequently because it's not as popular. PSA 10 population, basically it shows the main things you want to see here is how many have been graded. So if, the number on the left is how many 10s there are, and the number on the right is how many have been submitted to PSA in general. Obviously, this is only PSA. It doesn't include any of the other grading companies. But the things you want to look at is if it's a high number on the right, then it's a fairly popular card for like collectability and or flipping or whatever. And then the number on the left determines, how hard it is to get a PSA 10 and just that percentage between the two if you divide them. So that's another thing to keep note of. And in this set, surprisingly, the either the printing quality or I don't know what it is, but this set, it's the percentages, like if you're above 50%, like it's good. Like a lot of them are under 50% for grading a 10. And then some basic information. The release date was March 28th, 2019. So obviously this is based off the movie. I actually haven't seen the movie. I would like to see the movie. But yeah, I heard it was solid, and I think there's a lot of Pokemon. I think there was actually some playable cards within the set as well, but I think a lot of the cards that are fairly popular within this set is because they were popular in the movie as well, and they're just popular Pokemon in general, so it's kind of weird like seeing the whole trifecta there. And it's a small set, only 18 cards, no secret rares, so definitely a breath of fresh air after doing some massive sets recently, and then after this it starts picking up again for me. And then just some color coordination. If it's over 50, orange, over 100, yellow, and then if it's over green, 200. If there's any amazing cards, I will highlight those baby blue, but none of those are in this set. All right, so now that we're oriented, let's go down. So I'm just going to talk about anything that really strikes me. There's a lot of these cards, like a lot of these common cards, I did not expect them to sell for that well, but I think, or sell for that much, but I think it's because there's probably people out there seeking a full PSA 10 set, or a full PSA 10 set of Detective Pikachu, which honestly I can kind of see why. It's only 18 cards, so it's not crazy unreasonable, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people sleep on now because they're not the most beautiful cards. I mean, it was definitely I don't even want to call it a risk, but it's definitely a different direction for the cards and the artwork, but I have a feeling a lot of kids or, even adults that kind of were up during this time when the movie came out and everything a couple of years back, like way down the line, this could be a very coveted set. But as of right now, I do feel like a lot of these numbers are slightly inflated because just everything Pokemon right now is inflated. And you have to look really, really deep to see what's actually going to improve in the long run. Now, full PSA 10 sets of this, or full sets of this, I have a feeling they'll do well. I guess the first one we'll talk about is Machamp at a PSA 10 sold for $175. And pretty much this first half, they all sold very recently, like in the second half of January of this year. So they're definitely out there. I think there's just people out there that are wanting to get full PSA 10 sets of this, and I think, well, reason why a lot of these numbers are inflated is because PSA is extremely backed up, so people are going to buy whatever they can get a hold of. So anyone that, sent a bunch of these cards that at the time weren't worth anything, they're cashing out now. Let's see. Oddly enough, I could not find a slaking in a PSA 10, and if you look at it, it is the lowest. Let's see. Yep, it is the lowest graded 10 out of all the cards within this set. I mean, not a lot have been sent in, but only 16 out of 53, and a PSA 9 sold for 40. So I imagine a 10 would probably sell for around 100 or 100 plus. It is a rare, but, its raw price is less than $1. But yeah, it's definitely the rarest 10 within this set. So that's interesting to keep in mind. I don't own any of these cards. I've never opened a Detective Pikachu pack or anything like that because, they don't come with as many cards. And then I guess the culture really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't see the movie, so I was just like, eh. And I wasn't really collecting during this time. I do still see the collection boxes and stuff here and there. And I know Mystery really likes them, so maybe I'll open some at some point just to have at least some cards from the set. And then we go down to the bottom. I mean, you have pretty much all of them selling for over 100, which really surprised me. Like, they do extremely well. A lot of them are difficult to grade, though. Like, every single one is under 50%, some at 30, some at nearly 25%, the Charizard specifically being at for grading a 10. So, I mean, the Detective Pikachu selling for 150. Once again, these are only the set cards. I'm not including any of the promos. I don't include any of the promos within these lists. I just do the set cards because, once you get into the promos, it just opens a whole nother bag of, cards to research and everything like that. I do plan on in the future, after I'm done with all the Sun and Moon series of sets, I do plan on doing like a somewhat dive into the promo cards as well, revealing the more valuable ones and then the ones that have been graded, and pretty much doing the exact same thing that I'm doing here, but for like very specific promo cards. So look forward to that in the future. We have the Mr. Mime, which sold for 175. I was a little surprised about this. I think Mr. Mime was a very likable character within the movie, so that kind of makes sense. Not very many graded a 10, so there's that. Greninja, a lot of Japanese Greninjas have been sold, and that promo as well. And in case you didn't know, Greninja is an extremely popular Pokemon. In the United States, maybe not the most popular, but in Japan, Greninja is like top tier popularity. And I'm pretty sure it's won, the most popular Pokemon of the year at some point. So, not surprised there. The Ditto, this is actually my favorite card within the set. This was the first time I've actually looked at all of the cards within this set and just admired the artwork. And the Ditto is definitely my favorite. It's fairly hard to grade at a little over 30%, graded a 10. And it sold for 180, which makes it the second most valuable card within this set. So, I thought that was interesting. And some of these cards, like the Greninja and then also the Mewtwo from this set, the last time they were sold was in November. So I imagine if they were to be sold right now, because everything is just spiking right now, they would probably sell for a little bit more. But, they just haven't been sold in English from the set cards in a while, because Mewtwo also has the promo cards. And then finally, the king, like always, we have Charizard, the only one that's really worth anything raw at $14. It sold for $210, so just bursting over $200. A lot of people, this is probably one of their least favorite Charizard artworks because, it's that realistic live-action look. I don't think it looks that bad, but it's definitely not one of my favorite Charizard cards. I'm not even a huge Charizard fan in general, but, I mean, I like to respect an art if it's a good art, but, I mean, it's a cool action photo, but it's just weird. And apparently it's hard to grade, or maybe it's just one of those cards that if people pulled it at the time, they're like, oh, I'm sending this in for grading because it's a holo Charizard. But only 245 at 812. A lot have been submitted for grading, but only 245 got a 10. So who knows? If anything, I imagine that card will be bumping up in the future. All right. So now that we've gone through that, we'll just do some tidbits at the bottom. So I just kind of compared it to some of the other more recent, like, very collectible sets that I've done within Sun and Moon. So I just averaged all the cards that were PSA 10 except for the slaking. So it averaged $110 for PSA 10, which, honestly, that's not too bad. So you could literally, if you graded all the cards within a pack that you got, which I think they come with 5 cards or whatever. I'll put down below what the actual amount is if it's not 5. But, yeah, 110 for the average card within the set. I mean, there's definitely hunters out there. Once again, I do think these prices are a little inflated. But, I mean, if you plan on holding in a while, then I think you'll, at a minimum, make these numbers, if not more, way in the future. And when I say a while, I say 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, not flipping in a couple months, I don't know anybody that's flipping Detective Pikachu, and because I don't see anybody sending these in for expedient grading right now. But yeah, only 7 cards over $1 raw. So 7 out of the 18, a little over a third. That's not too bad. And then moving over, Master set sold for $80. So actually, one sold for 90 recently, and one sold for 70. And because they sold, I think they sold on the same day, or at least within a day, I just split the difference, and I was like, I normally don't do averages, but if they're that close, then I'll give a little extra love there. But no promos. So there are a lot of promos in this set. I know I did see one set of promo with the promos and everything. I think it sold for like 130 or 140, 150 or something like that, because there are some pretty cool promos, I guess. Average booster pack, $5.47. That's a lot of people would like laugh at Detective Pikachu packs. Like they would think they're literal trash, and the average right now is $5. I mean, they're obviously not being printed anymore. And then obviously there's no Elite Trainer box, so I just did the on the case figure collection. It's averaging about $25 right now. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much nearly what it was MSRP anyway. But yeah, and there's no booster box obviously. So overall, very interesting set. I can't really think of anything else like it. I mean, they've come out with, subsets within sets and all that stuff, but I mean, yeah, this is, there's like McDonald's promote, like there's other things kind of similar, but I think this Detective Pikachu set is one of its kind at the moment. Let's see. So I guess I'll do just, it'd be weird to kind of do 3 tier lists for the, I guess I could. So the low collectible ones, I honestly think, I'm surprised the Charmander didn't sell for more. Maybe it's a little bit easier to grade some of the other cards. I would think the low tier would be, the Charmander, the Bulbasaur. Honestly, low tier within this set, I would pretty much put everything in orange, honestly. I don't know why the Morlul, I guess because there's not that many 10s or whatever, but pretty much actually anything that's not in yellow, I'd put in the low tier. I think this set overall, like if you get a pack, you're bound to get at least one card that's somewhat decent. That is if they're in good quality. And then for the mid tier, I'd probably put, the Machamp, the Mr. Mime, just everything in yellow, I guess. Sorry, I normally list them out, but this set's so short, and I don't feel like just reading off Pokemon names to y'all. Everything in yellow. I'm surprised that Detective Pikachu didn't do more, but there are a lot of Detective Pikachu cards, including, a bunch of promos, so it kind of drowns out that market. And then the top tier in this set would definitely be the Charizard, obviously. So, nothing as far as the arrangement of these cards and their value, no surprises there. I mean, the Machamp, surprisingly, but, it is a cool-looking card. But nothing really too surprising there. But these prices, I will admit, I knew the Charizard was worth something, and I think I remember somebody talking about the Slaking being kind of hard to grade. But overall, very surprised. Once again, probably inflated at the moment, so don't expect these prices to, hold up or go up by another 100% within the next few months. But I have a feeling in the long run, this set will do all right. This set will do all right. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If this is your second video of mine, consider subscribing. If you like what you saw, leave it a like. If you don't like what you saw, feel free to leave some feedback or dislike down below. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I think next up is Unbroken Bonds, so look forward to that. You guys have a good one.